If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to the Open Doors, Open Minds YouTube channel. Don't forget to show your support by following us on Spotify and by following our social media platforms, links to which are in the description of this video.
And we are back in the studio. How you been?
I'm alright. You?
I'm alright. So what you been up to?
Not a lot. Not a lot. Well, I got a new job.
Oh.
And I'm just trying to relook at my life.
So obviously it starts with a new start. What's the new job?
It's at the college helping.
What, Reading College?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
At helping the unit there that like the autistic kids and stuff.
Okay.
So that'll be fun.
So you enjoying it?
I haven't started yet.
Oh, you haven't started?
After half term. Hopefully,
So
if everything, like your checks and stuff.
Your DBS.
Yeah, and I've got to do like a few courses and that, and then I'll be.
You looking forward to it?
Yeah, I'm a bit scared.
Why are you scared? Oh, I could get what you said. Sorry, you're in a new chapter of life.
Yeah, and obviously I've worked by myself for be coming up to 3 years now.
3 years?
That I've been being self-employed, I think. Yeah.
That's not too bad.
So to then go into working for someone again, but I feel like the job's more for giving back. So I'm just, I kind of want to look at it as I'm giving back to the universe.
Using the skills you've learned on the way. Yeah.
Rather than the money and stuff. I just want to, it's just for me really to get out of the house and actually be around people because I feel like it's really.
Do you think mums and bits and pieces suffer like that?
Yeah.
Not being able to the only adult or people to speak to is their kids.
I think what the problem is when you're going through a hard time at home and you're then working at home, living at home, or even if you're just a mum, full-time mum being at home, you only see them walls, so you don't see the outside. So then you become your own prisoner in your own head, which then, because I remember people ask me do you want to come out? And I'll be like, ooh, no, because I've already in my little thoughts of heads. So I feel like sometimes you need to kind of push yourself out if you're a bit like me, where you
push the boundary a little bit, because otherwise you
close yourself in so much that you don't let anyone in, and then you end up losing everything around you.
Do you feel like you've done that?
Yeah, I feel like I was really bad. I feel like my mental health went downhill really bad on New Year's Day. Something happened.
Normally with mental health, something normally happens. But do you feel like you've managed to deal with what's happened and pick yourself up a little bit?
I think I'm dealing with it now.
Dealing with it. That's probably the best.
Managing it. Going back to my old ways like I was before I went downhill, if that makes sense. I think I just slowly went downhill. I'm a bit like you, when one thing after another just happens and happens and happens, and then you then look in the mirror and think, who am I? Because you haven't had any time with yourself.
Yeah.
And then you think, where's my goals? Where's my motivation? Where's my
what advice would you give to obviously the listeners right now? What advice, obviously going through and still obviously getting better, what advice would you say to somebody that's starting to go down, feel like everything's piling up?
I think sometimes you have to sit with yourself and see what it is. If it's other people or other problems, you need to look at them. Even because I've bought a journal, and the journal's quite good. It's split in three, so it's got your goals and your bucket list of everything you want to do, and then it's also got questions like how do you aim to get there in the next say 6 months, and then what is your worst, what is it that stops you getting your goals. So one of mine is that I don't have a lot of self-esteem, so sometimes I police my own thoughts, so then I don't give myself enough praise. So doing that journal, and then in the other section it's a weekly, and then it's a month review as well. Okay. So it's got it keeps you up to date with things. Obviously that's just my way of doing it, but I just feel advice wise, I just think sitting down with yourself, looking at the goals you want to get, set your boundaries around there, and see what people are in your circle that might be helping you or being a burden on you.
When you say your circle, what do you mean?
I think when you suffer with mental health, most people that suffer with mental health, which is something that I've been getting in touch with as well. I'm getting in touch a lot with my spiritual side. I'm starting to look into more of that, and I have sort of looked at things, and a lot of people that suffer with mental health, I feel, are actually fighting a lot of battles that their parents maybe weren't able to fight. So then it's then brought all on their shoulders as such.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like sometimes we're very soft people that we kind of sometimes paint ourselves with a brush to say it's like mental health, when maybe it's not. Maybe it's we're just very sensitive to the people around us.
Our
and we've
environment.
Because when I look at me and my skills, I would say my skills are I can put my feelings aside and put someone else's feelings upon me, which I feel like you're quite similar in that sense. So if someone come in here and told you a story, you would feel it for them, and you could feel like their pain and stuff. As in, some people would just see it as, oh, that's their problem.
Yeah.
As in, I would see it as, oh, how can I help you? So sometimes you have to kind of have a look at your needs and wants first, and then see the people around you, whether they're helping you or whether they're putting more of a burden on you.
So
because you can't help others if you can't help
yourself, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So would you say family is the first point of call with mental health? If obviously there's some people without family, but would you say family should be your first point of call to?
I think family or really, really friends that have proved themselves that they would be there for you. I've started noticing that, obviously I've got my mum that I always go to if I'm really, really struggling. You know, I like up to date with my mum every week. But I do have like 2 friends at the moment that I feel like I can genuinely count on for anything, whether that's to call them and just cry or
have a moan.
Yeah, and they don't punish me for any of my decision making either on that moment. So say if something's bad for me and I know it's bad for me, but I'm still going back there to do it.
Yeah.
They don't judge me. They just are like, okay, but what has helped you with that? So not kind of mentoring, but it's kind of a little bit of support,
not judging
yeah.
you and accepting that you can be.
But then again, that's when I'm saying, like, look at the goals of where you want to end up, and don't force yourself either too much, because that's another thing I do. I look at a goal like that I want to achieve in a year's time, and then I put that pressure on me for today.
Yeah.
When I'm starting to look at things and think, no, just take 5 minutes as 5 minutes, not a day, so look at the 5 minutes and try not react on anything until you're like, if something's bothering me longer than 24 hours, then it needs a reaction to it, to whether you have to cut off it or deal with it. As in me, I'm quite reactive, so I react quite quick to things.
I would have definitely said that one.
So, because I'm very sensitive, so I just take it as like or I sometimes feel like it's like someone's coming for me when maybe they're not. They're just telling me their opinion, but I'll take it really to heart.
Yeah, take it more personal than it needed to be.
100%. So I just feel like I'm trying to work on my skill as in just taking that 5 minutes. Is if someone's saying their opinion, take it in. How is that going to affect me in the next 5 minutes? If it doesn't affect me that much, then really does it really need my opinion on it?
And also, the one thing I've learned is to not to worry about things that are out of your control. If you can't control it and there's nothing you can do, why are you worried about it?
What advice would you give then? Because you've been through a lot lately.
One of them is, look, if you can't control it, it's nothing you can do about it. If it's going to happen, whether you get angry, sad, upset, depressed about it, kick, scream, shout, lock yourself away. If it's going to happen, no matter what, there's nothing you can do.
Do you not think like a lot of things are signs as well? Because I feel like the universe already knows what's good for you and what's bad for you. And sometimes as people, the universe will take things from us that we thought was amazing, but really it was actually a blessing in disguise. Does that make sense?
At the time, you probably thought it was,
your world's going to come to an end.
It's going to come to an end, and it's not till you're probably like 6 months, a year, whatever it is later, looking back going, ooh, okay.
That needed to happen.
So certain things that happened with me in the last 4 or 5 years, it's like, wow, I was heading down a specific path that I deep down knew I didn't want to be on. I was hiding away from my mental health. I wasn't willing to speak about it. I was burying my head in every direction. And at the time, if you said to me, would you do it again? It's not to one further down. It was a scary time, and some of the thoughts and some of my actions, and I'm like, would I do it again? Yeah, I would. Hopefully with the knowledge I've got now, so it wouldn't be so scary and I could have picked myself up. But if I could have spoke to myself probably 5 years ago, I'd tell myself, look, this is who you can be. This is the person. You don't have to be the person that is a fighting all the time. You have to be aggressive and you have to do this, and you don't have to not talk about your mental health. When you have your dark thoughts, the people around you, if you can't talk to them, who can you talk to? But one thing I would say, don't try and control something that's out of your control. And obviously with me, I kind of had probably 2-3 months, if everybody's noticed the podcast, we've all kind of suffered a little bit. And it's doing what works. Sometimes it was what was working for 6 to 7 months may not be working. Some of the stuff that I used to do just stopped working.
Yeah.
And so I've gone back to doing me walking in the morning, my gym in the evening, making time for myself, not realising I have to try and save everybody, because it's not possible.
No, you can't.
And not take everybody's burdens on. If you can do something to help somebody, why not?
See, I think I've become a little bit more stricter with me with that, because I used to want to help absolutely everyone. And don't get me wrong, I've still got that heart that I will, but I'm very now, I want to be really strong and strict with my mindset, where it's like more, so I want to be around people that are helping themselves, that are saying, do you know what, I do have a problem here and I need to not fix it, but I need to manage it, so then I become this person, or I see my wrong in this, so I need to take whatever I've learned from it and try and
taking
move
responsibility
forward.
for your own mental health is probably another bit of advice I'd give. This is when I said to you, I wanted to talk about expectations on people, because before, I feel like I used to always say to myself, no, don't have expectations on anyone. Just whatever they bring to you is what they bring to you. As in now, I feel like I'm being a bit more stronger minded, in the sense of, if I'm wanting to be this kind of person, and for my own health and my kids' health and my life, then I need to know that I have this expectation with you. I'm not saying like, you know, if you're my friend or whatever, I've got to make sure that you're like living this life or that. I don't mean that. I mean, like, for instance, for example, if I have got a friend, I expect them not to just call me when it's going on a night out anymore. Yep.
I expect them to check in on me and actually be a good friend when it's bad and good, and actually know me for me, not just the girl that has a drink in her and dances on the dance floor. So I have more of like, no, I want this for my circle, so then I'm safe and I'm secure with everything around me.
With that bit, what you just said, do you think that your circle will be smaller now?
Yes, 100%. But it'll also be safer and more comfortable, and if that means I've got to stay in by myself because of I'll then go out with a friend that isn't on that, then I'd rather just stay at home. I'm done with wasting my time on people that use my vulnerability or my niceness as a weapon to feed their need. And that's why I have expectations.
But do you think
now.
You can go too far in the other direction, that you build up too many walls to kind of not allow yourself?
Not if you're... I'll always give everyone the benefit of doubt and the chance. I'm not going to turn around and say, oh, you know, you can't be my friend. Like,
no,
not you. No, I think I would always give people chances. At the end of the day, we live in a world where we have to forgive. We have to let people be people. But if a friend of mine that is good to me hurts me in a way, if I've already forgiven them that once, then that's cool. But if they then do it 300 times, why do I need to forgive you again? Because you're already showing
why you in my life.
Yeah, because you're then mirroring what you actually see in me, and that is basically that you can just take the absolute.
Yeah. Do you feel like that in relationships and family?
Yeah, 100%. I think even family, I think obviously at the moment I'm trying to not get in any kind of drama at all with any disputes or anything, because obviously when you're with family, always has, you know, no family is perfect.
No family is perfect whatsoever.
I just really want to be with my thoughts, my goals, and I'll support my family and I'll be there for them, but I don't want to get in any kind of squabbles. I just really want to just start from scratch again and just start off a clean slate for Chelsea, where it's, I know who I've got and where I've got to go, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because I've recently done similar things with that, where I've gone to set up an event for a mental health thing, and good 60-70% of the people that I've gone to have gone, oh, that's a good idea. And then one's gone, well, that's going to cost us money. And I'm like, Okay, that's not for me. What I'm quite blunt in a sense. Whereas before it'd have been, oh well, please, we'll do this and I can do that. And if you're not on board no more, if you're not on the same page, it's and everyone's like, Scott, why?
Because the thing is, if they then show up but don't show up 100% for you, then that the person that's looking up at you will then see it slacking from you as well. So it's like a
that's
like
exactly
a ladder.
how I
You
feel.
need to make sure that your whole. To be fair, I saw a podcast the other day, and they said like your family and your friends should be like a house.
Yep.
So you've got your windows, which are then people that you say hi to, and you could go and have a drink with, but they're not in your house. They don't know your ins and outs. You don't open up to them. And then you have the walls, I think, only see what you want them to see. And then you have the floor, which is literally, if your floor went, you got nothing to stand on. So that's like, you say your mum or your best friend that you go to for everything, or your partner. So that's how I'm trying to picture everything. Like, where is it people stand in my life, in my house?
What do you need to get? I get that, and that's perfectly...
Which is the same with even building a business. You need to make sure who's...
If the foundations aren't strong, it's what I've worked out is with... So I've got friends, just like you said, that I can call up. Want to go for a beer? Yeah, we'll go for a beer. I've got friends that I may not see for about a year, and we'll pick up exactly the conversation. It's not judged. We catch up. We have the conversation. But I've got family, so I've got lots of brothers and sisters and bits and pieces. So there's certain ones, it's like my sister and bits and pieces. I help her so much. She's like, I've sorted out of adult social services. I've done all the different bits and pieces because I'm the big brother. But she won't go to my little brother because he's the youngest. But like my older brothers, I don't go to him. But I go because I think he's very spiritual. And he's quite blunt with me in the sense of, it's a great idea. Rather than some friends that are two-faced, they say one thing to your face and something different. My brother's like, nah, you're an idiot. Or, nah, that's a good idea, Scott.
That's what you need, isn't it?
But you need somebody that's to help guide you and for you to guide them. So when he was like going down a little bit with his mental health, I can see that. Come on, then, we'll go for coffee. We'll go a bit. But when it was the other way around, you pick each other up. But like you said, I could just knock the door. Yeah, morning, come in for coffee. You don't need to have a formal invite.
No.
It's like, but with my sister, you'd have to give her a pre-warning. You'd have to do that. But I get it. It was just how different people are. But in a family, I find there's a different dynamic. That ones that you can push. So like my brother would say, what did he say to me? I was the glue of the family. If I blow it apart, everybody's a mess. If I'm the one that says, right, you do this, I do that, I'll help. But all of a sudden, everybody rallies around each other. But if I kind of don't do it, it all just goes to nobody does anything. Everyone stops talking to each other for years. So the moment I stopped talking, I need to sort myself out, nobody spoke to each other for years.
Oh, God.
And the moment I went, oh, well, I'm going to so-and-so, you come in and, yeah. And everyone just picked up.
A little bit annoying for you sometimes because it must mean that you don't always have to, you can't enjoy the moment because you're always having to make sure that person's okay all the time.
And that's why I have a friend, Katie, she's my best mate, and she's like what I call my ride or die. So like we don't judge each other. So some of the stuff that we've told each other, but she doesn't judge. She goes, yeah, okay. So like she messaged me yesterday, did a little check-in. You all right? You good? Yeah, that's right. Well, Friday, come around for coffee. We'll go round, we'll put the world to rights, we'll do this, and I'll give her, I'm like, Kate, you're being an idiot. You're doing it. And she'll give me complete advice back, but we don't hold it or use it as a weapon against each other. There's some things she knows about me and I know about her, and I'm like, there's not many people besides my little brother that I could say, ooh, that actually knows everything about me, doesn't judge me, and accepts me for who you are. And I find family are the same. Family, friends. So my expectation is I've kind of worked out a bit like yourself that you're doing now. So I've got like layers of circles, if that makes sense. Who's in my center of my circle? And I'll say there's only probably 2 or 3 people. But even my own father and mother are probably on the 3rd circle out because, yes, they're my parents, but there's certain things you can go to as your brother or your best mate. There's certain things you don't want to tell your mum, I'm suffering with this and I'm suffering with that and blah, blah, blah. They would be there, but they do it as a parent, not as an individual. They do it because they feel obligated because they're your parent.
It's that protection, isn't it? So then you don't want to be a burden on their life as well because they've just already done all these years with you. So it's kind of like...
Yeah, and obviously you step in and out of their lives.
To be fair, there was a video I watched the other day about parents and it said, don't be hard on your parents because it's also their only life as well. I was
You
like,
forget they're
don't ever
human sometimes.
Yeah, and you forget that they actually have a life as well, which...
Yeah, they're not just mum,
Yeah.
dad. They're also
they didn't just
so-and-so.
birth you and think, oh, that's it, that's my life. Like, as much as you should be part of their life, it's also they have their own problems and their own
I feel like
people.
parents are more of your safety net. Like when, like especially with my mum, I couldn't have asked anything when it went all horribly wrong for me. We hadn't spoken for like 2 to 3 years, probably maybe a bit longer. Knock the door, mum, help, get in. And my mum's the first one. I love you, but I don't like you. And it was like, but she was there. She supported me. She did what she could in her own little way. We never agreed on everything all the time, but I knocked that door, and I knew deep down my mum wasn't going to let me fall to pieces and help me. She may not have been able to sort out my mental health, but all right, well, I'm here. Want a coffee? And that's how it goes. But like my brother, he spoke, he's brutally honest, sometimes a bit too honest for me, but I know where I stand with certain people. And what I'm trying to do now is each layer of the circle, as I call it, is I know who's who, what's what. Don't take everything at face value. Yeah. People to me have got, I'm very loyal, and I expect trust to go both ways. Once that's broken, I've realised you're better than me. I wouldn't give somebody a second chance anymore. I used to give them hundreds and hundreds and hundreds.
Well, I'm starting to learn that. And I'm also learning that not everything needs to be explained either.
What does it matter? Because
before I'd have to, if I was to cut someone off of my life because I feel like they've literally hurt me, I would have to explain to them why they've hurt me. As and now I'm seeing it as no, you can't just walk away and just not say anything and let them, they know what they did. Yeah. Because I'm a big believer now that if someone's treating you a type of way, they know exactly how they're treating you. They know what they're doing, whether they're even if their life's coming to an end or they've lost someone, how someone treats you is on them. If they're not taking that accountability and actually looking at their actions to change their own self, then who are you to tell them to change? That's their path. So exactly. What's the point? So I'm starting to really I guess, I don't know if it is maturing or if it's just being really hard on the world.
It's also learning a lesson.
I also want to be still pure-hearted and still innocent to the world. I feel like that's very important to me, to still keep the love that I do have. I don't want to lose that, but I also
want to become a crazy cat lady.
Yeah, no, because I genuinely love love. I'm not ashamed to say it. I absolutely love seeing people in love. I love how I love to family, friends, people. I like to uplift people around me. I am that person. So I'd hate for these bad people or people that have done bad things to me to change my mindset on how I view and see love, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I also want to be stronger where it's the sense of who I love next or who I love around me is loving me back exactly the same.
But do you think we put too much expectation on what we want back?
No, I don't think we do. It depends what you're wanting out of life, in all honesty.
So say you're with somebody for about a year, your mental health's going a little bit thing and you've kind of worked out your journey, or I say journey or what you think you should accept. If that person just say it's out 10 things that you wanted, they only meet 8, what would your expectation be then? I
think it depends on how those 3 things impact me as a person.
So if it was impacting your mental health, they're obviously
not for you.
Right. No.
And it can be as simple as that. It can be that you could have absolutely amazing chemistry with someone, but they don't see the future that you see, or they're not mature enough to be capable of having the future that you want. So who do you devalue? Do you devalue them and walk away from them because you know that they're not able or capable because they don't want to be? Or do you value yourself to walk away, or do you devalue yourself to be on the same level as them? Because you can go out with someone that's a level 4 that could be just really fun, really outgoing, is a kind, nice person, but for the future it just don't work because they don't see that.
They don't see the end goal. You're not on the same path.
As in, for me, I've noticed this is something that I've had to really learn on myself, is I'm a very goal setter. So if I'm not with someone that's look, I want this at the end. I want to go on holiday this year with you, or I want to buy a house with you, or I want to do this with you, I want to marry you, If I've got nothing to work towards with you, then what are we doing here?
Do you think that helps having goals to set you for your mental health?
100%.
And also work on the relationship.
Yeah, 100%. I think as long as it's hard though, because you also don't want to lose people that are good for you as well. But sometimes you have to look at it as, if they're not good for your mental state or you as your personality or you as a person, then you're basically wasting their time and your time. So you sometimes do have to take that big burden of being alone and then find your own.
So what do you see love as then? What does love mean to you?
I think love to me is someone showing up.
Being in your corner.
Someone showing up and being your cheerleader. And being your first protocol on anything. So it's not, I'm going to tell you this is my dream, but now you got to go and check in with your best friend to make sure that is good enough for you. I want someone to be like, no, you deserve that and we're capable of this. And me vice versa.
Supporting both of you either way, his dreams, your dreams.
100%. And because it's the same with your kids in that. How do you expect kids to achieve if they're seeing two people kind of being against their wants and their needs? It doesn't work. Kids should be seeing, no, this is our goal and this is what we're going to achieve. Even if there's arguments on the way, we're still getting there. We're still doing that. And sometimes a lot of people are in relationships or even friendships that the arguments they're having, they shouldn't even be having them kind of arguments. Like for me, if I'm with someone after a year, if we're still arguing over him not giving me effort or him not spending time with me, then...
Do you feel like
why am I here?
Talk enough in a relationship to kind of sort these things out? In most relationships, I'm not saying in all relationships, but
I think a lot of people just settle because they're too scared to see if there's anything better.
It's not a bad way of looking at it.
Personally. Because I do feel like a lot of people are in relationships that they're just settling with because it is scary though. I'm not going to lie. It is absolutely terrifying when you're in a really rut in a relationship where you're back and forth with someone because their mindset's this way and your mindset's that way. And you're just back and forth. And then you still love each other. Like, don't get me wrong. You can still love someone, but you can love someone from afar. You don't have to love them.
You have to be.
Yeah, you don't have to be like, oh, you don't have the same goals as me, so therefore I hate you. I'm going to go this way. It can be like, do you know what, babe? It is really sad and maybe it's just the wrong time for us, but this isn't working. I need to do this for me. So if it's, like I said, if it's affecting you and you're waking up every morning and all you're doing is sitting there wondering what they're doing, and if they're not giving you what you need, then clearly there's a problem.
So if you were thinking, oh, what is he up to or what is she up to and bits and pieces, and it drags on for months and months and months, and
something's making you...
Something's not right?
Yeah, because you're not feeling secure. And I am a big believer that if a man loves the woman and the woman loves the man, security is everything, because security builds love.
Do you think men and women love the same?
No.
Do you think their love language is two different things?
100%. Men are very... if they wanted to, they would kind of behaviour. Mm-hmm. Women... We have, when women meet a man, for instance, I'm going to put it on the dating kind of track, whatever the word is. A man, man, I think, can meet a woman on first date and know whether he can see potential or not. Mm-hmm. A woman doesn't even need to meet the man and probably can see potential.
But do you not think it's also...
Because we feel... men see.
It's the vibe. So I would say from a man's point of view,
I also think that a man will know if he's definitely really invested in this woman after about 6 months.
I think a man can know sooner than that. Personally,
I think deadline 6 months. If he isn't putting points across to the woman that he wants to protect her, love her, take her forward.
But you shouldn't need to say that.
I'm not saying marriage.
No, but I mean, as in you should, as a woman, I feel...
That's why you got to look for signs, isn't it?
I think women will know, and I think that's why a lot of women go for the bad boys, because of the protection side of it. It's like naturally built into us.
I don't think women go for...
Do you know?
No, I think women go for the bad guys because they know what they're getting. If we go for a good guy, and for that good guy to hurt us, will kill us, our insides and our heart 10 times more than the bad guy that we already know what we're getting.
Isn't that kind of like proving yourself right?
But women, but this is I think another part of maturity and finding yourself, because I used to be like that. I'd want to go with the bad guy because I feel like if I go with the guy that's sleeping with everyone, if he cheats on me, I kind of already know that wasn't going to happen.
It's like, oh yeah, see, I told you so.
I already know. And I can moan about it to my friends, and it could be a conversation with my girls. So then therefore they're my friends because we can talk about boys. Another thing about maturity and having friends, now I look at things like, if we're not talking about business mindset, where we're going and heading in life, then really you're not my true friend at the moment, because I want to see vision. I want to build with my friends and be supportive. But relationships, I think, I forgot what I was saying.
So
it's my dyslexia.
So what I mean is like the safety side of the bad boys. But
yeah, so good guy, I think you get really terrified of literally pouring your thoughts, your feelings into this guy and him taking it and then doing what the bad guy done, but worse because he done it in a snakier way, because he pictured himself as this lovely, charming man.
You mean like false advertising kind of thing, yeah?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, I get.
But I do think it's maturing, because I think if a woman builds on herself, this is why I'm really like trying to be strong with my boundaries and looking where I want to go, because whatever man comes in my home now and says you're my girlfriend to me, I want to make sure that he is capable of the life that he's actually going to be coming into now, because I don't want another guy that's coming and meeting my kids to then be
out of it.
Yeah, like I don't want to be that girl. I want to either be a strong mum by myself, and I've got it by myself and I've got me, or you're coming in and you've got all three of us, or whatever you've got as well. Like if you've got kids as well, then are you capable of this? Are you capable of
stepping up to the plate?
Or are you more of a runner where you'll say yes, get what you want out of it, get what you need out of it, and then you're gonna do one?
So what would you say is an ideal relationship? What do you think the balance is for obviously mental health? Because obviously individually you both got mental health, but obviously together in a relationship you can knock each other's mental health, a relationship's mental health.
I know it sounds really sad, but I actually think if both of you are really badly mental health, it's like a ping ball. You're just going to be going ping, 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 and there's going to be nowhere to go. So sometimes it is the case of, again, loving from afar, fixing yourselves up again. Because I do believe in it. If you're meant to be with that person, it will happen, whether it happens today. And it is terrifying. And I think this is the problem with, we talk a lot about mental health, but we don't talk enough about healing. I think it's more about the healing with mental health, not the actual mental health. Like I can
give you tablets tomorrow. Doesn't mean it's going to make it. What are you going to do with your
healing? So if, for instance, what is my biggest fear at the moment with myself that I have that my thing that sets me back a lot is patience. I suffer. I'm worse with patience. So when I'm with someone and I'm comfortable, to then know that I've got to maybe leave them because I need better for myself, I've got to have a lot of patience for myself and believe the universe is going to take me where I need to take me.
And if that
I've got to have a lot of faith
and
patience, and that's something I lack on. So again, with my journal, that's one of the things I've wrote. I want to have and give myself more patience as well with like jobs and stuff like that. I am one of those that if it gets a little bit too much, sometimes I do a runner and go to my comfort zone. I'm trying to get rid of that comfort zone. I'm trying to make a new comfort zone, which is, no, we're going to find that and we're going to go and get it. But it doesn't mean it's easy. It is the most hardest thing, fighting your own battles in your head to then get to that goal. But what I do believe is taking one step at a time, even if it's every 5 minutes on that day, one step to every 5 minutes, then at one point I will get there, and maybe next year I'm sat here and I'm like, yeah, I've got where I've wanted to get to at least.
Yeah, and ticked X amount of your goals.
I think
and
if you're with someone, so I've had two experiences with my past relationships. I've had one experience where I do think we were both quite sufferers in our heads, and we wasn't communicating right to each other about how we were feeling because we were too scared to hurt each other. And then recently, I feel like I've been in a relationship where I think, I don't want to say lack of understanding, but not understanding because they never ever had to deal with it. And where I'm quite an open, honest person, they didn't realise the impact on certain things, if that makes sense. So that person was never ever harmful or hurtful towards me.
No, but do you think that
affected...
men are a bit weird like that?
I don't think there's anything to do with men. I think it's very to do, because at the end of the day, I think it's just to do with people. You either have sympathy or you lack it.
I
know women that have no sympathy for anything. So I don't think I think it's a human trait, and it's where you want to see that person. But I also feel like sometimes what happens in relationships is that person tries to please you so much, and you try and please them so much, and your goals and your beliefs and your wants just go away because you're trying to do their wants and beliefs, and and then you lose each other, and then really you're dating nothing more than a body. Because you're not really. So I think sometimes it is a case of just stripping it all back, find yourself for a few weeks, get to a really good routine with yourself, then date again, and then take slow steps if you're really wanting to be with that person. And then I bet you any money in that small steps, you'll soon realize, okay, actually I'm seeing for what it is now. This person isn't actually going to get me to that goal, or actually he or she actually is the person that I genuinely need to get to that goal. But do you think
if your mental health was, we'll put it on levels. You're at level 0, obviously, which is the bottom, and 100 is the top.
Yeah.
If you were at a 75, for example, do you think you'd want the same thing in a relationship where you would at 0? Or do you know, as in we both suffer with mental health, as in it all depends where we are to what we want from that relationship?
I think with mental health, you have to be quite selfish-minded.
I would agree on that.
I think you can't. The thing with mental health, it's very difficult. I've never had my safe person as my partner with my mental health ever, and I won't ever put that upon them. Not in a harsh way, because I feel like a lot of people only have their partner, which I get that, and to them, I do feel like you need to try and find somewhere else that you can go to and speak to, because sometimes going to a partner for everything isn't always a good thing, because they also have their mind, their thoughts. You end up being kind of the carrier for them, which then will then make their drown. So it's like you're kind of in a swimming pool just drowning each other in a way. Yeah. So it's kind of like you do need someone to go to see sense in your relationship. And if you both suffer with mental health and you're both just banging heads with each other and you're not getting an answer, then in all honesty, go to couple therapy, because then maybe it's just a case of like you're not communicating how you're actually feeling towards each other, right? Or it's not sitting in. Do
you think men, in applies, because obviously I'm going to do this from my point. So in 20 years, 19 to 20 years, I was with my ex-wife. Once, and that was at the very end in 20 years, did she see me cry, because I thought it was a weakness. A man should be this kind of whole image. Do you not think men can actually screw up a relationship because of how they were brought up, how society can be, that you've got to be this man kind of thing, and I'll solve all the problems, I will be the protector, I will be the provider, I'll be this, I'll be that, but forget to show that kink in their armour and have that support back?
I think it's a bit hard to kind of answer that, because I feel like I don't think she would have left you because you cried that day.
No. But you can affect other people's mental health in a relationship, I think, because you're a certain way.
Men are like, you probably have seen it from, if you think of yourself, Scott, 20 years ago, the conversations you probably had with your boys then to now are probably totally different.
Oh, 100%.
So there's a lot of like ego talk with men, which we know. There's a lot of like what men, as much as women don't believe it, men don't like being talked about either. Men hate it. So if you're kind of a girl that's kind of out there and talking about stuff, then they're going to hate it. So I think it's a part of maturity, and it's about part of like what I think if you're wanting to get in a relationship with absolutely anyone in the world, I think you just need to make sure you've got true intentions. And I think a lot of people get in relationships because they're lonely, not because they want to see someone win and they want a partner to achieve with. They get in relationships for all the wrong reasons. And half of the time, again, I'm learning this with myself, it's either a trauma love or it's a real love.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you are a sufferer of mental health or have suffered with maybe child abuse or anything, which I can talk for myself on that, I think you fall into certain categories where you get with people for the absolute wrong reason, and then you end up relying on them for all your needs and wants, and that's your
They
emotions
become
as
your
well.
rock rather than you
Yeah,
being
so
your own rock.
if they don't, for instance, I used to be very bad, and even my ex would probably say this as well. I used to be very bad at, if I woke up in the morning and say he needed 5 minutes to himself, if he hadn't said morning to me, that would make my day shit the whole day.
Oh,
Just because
really?
he hasn't made, yeah, because in my head I was thinking, oh God, he hates me, and I would just start policing my thoughts again. So again, and then that's when I've started to realize actually he shouldn't be responsible for how I feel as me as a person. He should only be responsible for how he treats me.
Do you know what?
So-
That's not a bad way of looking at that, you know.
So
That is a kind of a...
and I feel like a lot of people sometimes are in relationships because they're too scared to find themselves. So what they do is they cover up their own traumas to then make themselves easy, or they, you know, like, because I know multiple girls that go around sleeping around.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know a girl that sleeps around with loads of men and is proud of it and is happy about it. I bet you any money, even if she's blasé about it, or like, I don't care, I can tell you any money, she cries at night because she feels worthless, because she isn't going and getting the right support, because she's probably been through something that's really been horrible to her. So instead of using relationships as a good thing, she's seen it as a part of control. So then she'll go and sleep around because she's in control of it then. If men only want her for sex because that's how she sees it, it's then, okay, well, I'll sleep with everyone because then I'm in control of who sleeps with me.
Control of the situation.
So it's a lot. I see a lot of broken people around, and I get sad because I'm like, you're actually got so much potential in you, but you're not. You're standing in your own way, and it's until you actually want to face yourself in the mirror, and one day that will happen, because one day you'll be too old to go around sleeping around. One day you'll want something more in life, and you'll be like, shit, I've got to start all over scratch when I'm old, rather than when I'm maybe at my age at 30. That's like, okay, right, what do I want? Where do I want to go? What do I want to achieve? I was that person, but I want to be this person. So how do I get there? I know from today onwards, I'm going to talk like I'm that person, and that is what I'm going to do.
So, okay, then, on that sense, if you could go back to, say, your 21-year-old self,
God, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What advice would you give yourself about mental health and relationships?
I think I'd sit down with myself and I'd say, whatever these people that have hurt you and has made you believe you are not worth it, you're 10 times more, and you need to get out there and you need to show your worth and do everything that you were put on the earth to do, and find your purpose and go for it. Stop standing in your own way. Stop making people belittle your mindset, and get out there and fucking do it. Because you can.
See, that's, if only we could just look back for a window and do it, right? The reason why I asked that
It's never too late.
I don't know if I would change anything.
Do you
go
not?
back. Sometimes I say to myself, I wish I could go back to school. With the knowledge I got now, my life would be different. But I quite like where I am now.
Yeah.
And I feel like I had to go through
All of that
to get to where I need. I felt like it was the universe's way of getting you to
100%.
where you needed to be. You had to lose this person, or that had to happen, and you had to break, and there was an up and a real good time and a bad time for you to know the difference between good and bad times and all the rest of it. And it's a bit like, obviously, our symbol, obviously the road. It feels like I'm on a roller coaster sometimes, and sometimes I'm really up and I'm like, right, great, and obviously down. But I feel like I'm having less down because I know, and I've cut my circle smaller, and I know how to pick myself up. Whereas before I would have just buried my head, like bills come in, oh my God, and I used to bury my head. Like washing needs to be done, little things like that. And I realized once you start burying your head in one thing, it becomes, well, it's easy to bury it in the next one and not say to anybody. So I just kind of took Daniel's approach in the sense of, why put it off till tomorrow when you can just do it now? Everyone else like, Scott, why are you what are you doing now? Oh, I'm painting the door.
But I also think it takes a lot of strength to get to what you've just said.
Oh, you have to want to be something.
I know we were on this show and we like talk, and we talk like it's easy, or it's
not easy.
It's like I said, I don't think there's a lot of conversation in the world about mental health, but it is so freaking hard and lonely to heal.
Yeah.
And I think that's why there's so much people that go to like talking therapy and sometimes don't get what they need out of it, because there's not enough talk about, for instance, all my last 3 partners, I think, have all said this to me. I know nothing about mental health. How do I help you?
Do you think there's enough?
And that's when
there?
I'm trying to help myself. That's not when I'm like down in the dumps. That's when they know I want to help myself and they know I want to get there, but they have no clue how to help me. So there's not enough out there of the talk, what therapies have. So you have that 1 hour of talking therapy, then what happens?
You're
when you
back
come off
to
the phone, what happens? You're then sat there with your thoughts. Your family don't really know how to like navigate you to the positive side of things. If anything, half of the time it's like they just go on like life's normal, and it's like actually healing is probably the hardest thing that you'll ever do in the world. I don't care how rich you are. I don't care if you
male, female, black, white, it doesn't matter.
If you're trying to heal, it's the hardest thing that you will do, but it's also the most beautiful thing that you'll see within yourself at the very, like when you've reached to that point, and you'll look back and you'll go, oh, I can't remember. Oh God, I remember when I woke up and I just cried over a bloody cup of tea. Like,
or someone not saying good morning.
Yeah, yeah. And you'll be like, oh, I really needed that for what? Like, I know who I am now. But the only thing is when you're a sufferer of mental health, you'll always have that soft, kind heart, which I keep saying, keep that heart, but just make sure you're not vulnerable to the wrong people.
That's not a bad, that's, so.
Because I do feel like it's very, when people, not in a horrible way, men kind of know from the get-go if you're a vulnerable woman or if you're not.
I think it's pretty obvious,
yeah,
is it not,
so
to everybody?
So if you're a man that is quite narcissistic or controlling, a man will do certain things to see if you're easily swayed without you realising.
Yeah.
They won't tell you I'm controlling because they can't. They can't tell you I'm a narcissistic person because they can't, because then you'll run a mile. But they can say to you, oh, babe, you're going out this weekend, are you? Yeah. Oh, well, I've actually got this going on. Do you want to come with me? They'll slowly do things to make you sway from your friends, sway from this. So I do feel like when you suffer with mental health, you also, when you've healed and you've got to that strong point, really like boundaries, I think, are absolutely everything. That's my aim goal this year, is sticking with my boundaries, being really strong-minded and learning to say no if it's not going to be good for me in a week's time. Don't say just yes because it's a yes because I want to say yes today. Look at it for in a week's time, is it going to be beneficial?
That's not a bad way to look at it. And I think obviously people at home that are obviously listening, I don't know if we're making it sound easy or we're making it sound terrible, but it's...
Am I sounding scary, Scott?
I wouldn't say that I'm 100% where through the healing, through everything.
I don't think you ever.
I think I'm much better where than what I was. I definitely have my low days. I definitely have my high days. But it's recognising that you're not perfect.
100%. And I don't think, I don't want anyone watching this thinking, oh God, Chelsea speaks like she's there. Just remember a few months ago I was on here crying. I'm not saying I'm there yet. I'm 100% not. If anything, in honest truth, I'm going back to talking therapy, simply because my last relationship, I noticed that I did have a dependent on them. I was very scared to leave I wanted to stay for the wrong reasons, and I want to find out why it is I am so terrified to be on my own.
Yeah, you need to be your own strength first in order to.
So I want to get therapy, and people can look at me and think, oh, okay, therapy this, therapy that. Well, I want to get therapy because for my next partner, which I hope to be my husband, I want to be the absolute best version of myself. I can't do that if I'm terrified of being on my own.
But you're not just with that though. You're not just doing therapy and thinking that's going to solve it. You're doing lots of different things.
I'm trying to really fight every bad thought in my head and fight it back with a better sword, basically.
Trying to turn a negative into a positive, right?
Yeah, and learn from it, and hopefully educate everyone else what I've learned, whether it, my way of healing might be totally different to the next. So whoever's watching this, whatever I've said, it might not be for you. But if you're a girl at home or a boy that sit there and feel like you're dependent on people, really sit with yourself and really jot down what you want out of life and see what, even if you have to do like the bubble thing, bullet points or whatever, I don't know, see what you need to put in place to get there. Like, a dinner wasn't cooked in 5 minutes.
No, that's bang on, isn't it? You can't look at Daniel for, obviously we couldn't even do half of some of the Daniel. But
100%.
Obviously Daniel's done a stage, he stood in front of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people, and sung and had talks. I think it all depends of where you've been, what you've been through in life, but that shouldn't need to dictate. Obviously it changes you as a person, but I'm trying to turn all my weaknesses to my strengths.
Your weaknesses are your strength. Most of the time, your best qualities are your worst qualities. So for instance, I'm a very innocent, I'm a very sensitive person. That's amazing for some things, but also very bad for other things because I'm a sensitive person. So I think sometimes we're so hard on our own thoughts and our own self that we actually forget that actually being who you are is actually a very blessing. So don't ever feel like you're not needed in the world, because you are 100% are needed. And I think you need to just really sit with yourself, and you are deserving of everything that you dream of and want. It's just whether you're wanting to get there or not.
The world is a better place with us all in it.
100%.
You can't have everybody that's always agreeing, because if everyone agreed, it would just be a boring place, right?
Yeah, it would be rubbish.
But okay, so obviously we've had that bit. We have some news. We're now doing, as from Monday the 26th of February 2024, just in case you're watching this back and it's 2050 and we're still going. We are starting on the radio stations. We go live at Swindon 105 FM, and that is a 2 o'clock. It's going live for an hour. So obviously, if you want to be a guest, or even come on here and want to be a guest, or speak to Chelsea, or speak to Jack, or speak to me and Daniel, or just me, or just Daniel, or want to come on and just tell us your story on any of them, or you want to get involved. So we're doing radio. We have launched the mental health football. We have launched the therapy. We have launched golf, hypnotists, therapists, life coaches, spiritual coaches. We've pretty much got, or if we haven't and you realise we're missing something when our website launches, please feel free to obviously offer your services. We've got reflexology. What else? We've got massage. We've got also, it just keeps growing and growing. Every time I go somewhere, and
you got someone else.
We get somebody else. Like I've literally got the golf bros. That's brilliant. So obviously they're doing it for the men's side of it and bits pieces. And I've got a women's one where they took all the women. It started off with just women, where they took 12 women for 12 weeks, taught them how to, obviously coaching them in singing, and then built a choir and stuck them in front of an audience.
Oh God, that would be my worst.
But obviously they coach them in the sense of they build up their confidence, build up who they are, teach them all the stuff. And when I've spoken to some of the women that have done it, it was like, it was the most amazing thing. If you had seen me 12 weeks ago, I was scared of my own shadow. But knowing that I could do it is given that, not that it's cured them or helped, it's just given that one notch more.
Probably made like
right
friends
direction.
that are in same passions or whatever with them as well.
Same
and
like-minded
that's so important.
people. And so what else have we got going on? We're about to launch our website, which will be a mental health directory with everything on it that you can access for discounts, and see our podcasts will be on there. Our radio bits will be on there. Day-to-day stuff, like tips from people that are a little bit more trained than we are. We're only giving you advice through our own personal experiences, and what has worked and what's not working. But obviously there's people out there that do this as a job. So we will get, we got a charity called the Pearl Exchange, which is coming on board for the 18 to 35-year-olds, which will be a 24-hour hotline. I say hotline? What's the right word I'm looking for? My mind went completely in the wrong direction.
Helpline.
Hotline. It's not a red telephone.
I know it says open doors, open minds. Like it doesn't say open. Well, that was good, Scott.
So it's a helpline for 18 to 35-year-olds with coaches, mental health coaches, therapists, everything like that. It's all free of charge. You can call day or night. There will always be somebody there to pick up the phone. We are working on for obviously all the other age groups, but this charity, fair play to them, they're doing it all for free. They can do it through Zoom. They'll give you some coaching, some advice, some help, and they're there if you're in crisis. They are literally what I would want to say. Obviously, there's the Samaritans out there. There's lots of other charities, people helping. So whatever works for you, just remember the world is a better place with you in it.
100%.
What else have we got going on? We've obviously come and done this one. Daniel's coming on the radio show with me for a little while. He's going to support and hold my hand and help me and do what Daniel does best and take me to the next level or something. But if there's anything you think we could use to help the next person, some advice that we may have been missed out on, or that'll help us on our journey as well as other people on our stage kind of thing here. There's the Excel Centre we're going to in March. I think it's the 13th and 14th.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously it's a mental health and wellbeing expo. Yeah. So hopefully I'm going to go up there and see if there's other things that, I'll give that a try. Don't be scared to try anything. And the one thing I've learned in probably the last 4 years is when you're in your darkest time, if someone said to me, that ruler might help if you smack it across your knuckles, I would have given it a go. Why not? If it works for you, it works for you.
Yeah, don't do that first.
Obviously it doesn't work. Well, I can say to you it doesn't work. But what I meant as in if they said, this coffee's great and it will work for you, within reason, as long as it's not going to hurt you.
Therapy as well, because I didn't know this with talking therapy, because they don't tell you, but I've done talking therapy twice. My first time was amazing, and it was weird because I had a male therapist, and I always thought I'd never ever wanted a male therapist, but he was absolutely spot on with the way I deal with things.
Yep.
And then my second time around, I had a lady. She was all right, but I just couldn't connect with her. You are allowed to turn these people down and say, no,
yes,
they're
100%.
not the right, because we all have different minds. Like I said, my way of healing might be totally different to yours. Yours might be going to the gym and going for a run every day. It might be going for a long walk. It might be, sitting in with your thoughts. Mine's is more putting them out on paper and seeing what I need to do around them. So I think maybe if anyone's out there and you're on your healing journey, or you have healed from a lot of things, maybe jot down in the comments kind of what helped you.
And also give us some advice.
Any videos, any education out there that might help. It's always worth it.
Because the other thing that I wanted to get across to people as well, you don't have to wait till it's at crisis point to support your mental health. And I think that's, as humans, I think we wait till something's completely broken before we do something about it. Like myself, I
and it's also not punishing yourself, because I think a lot of people that have gone through that has mental health, they have this view of themselves as they're not right, or they're not a person. And it's actually like, no, you are your person. You just need to work out your qualities within you, and again, look at the ones that you struggle with, and maybe not educate yourself because you're you, but learn about them, explore them. Like I said, I've just worked out now that my patience and my faith is a problem to me, and that's probably what has caused a lot of my downfalls with my relationships with people and stuff, because I haven't given them enough patience, because I'm like, I want that now, so give it to me now.
I want. Isn't that what most women?
Be careful what you say, Scott.
I was going to stop. But I mean, as in, yeah, okay, that could be a whole different talk for a whole different subject.
That'll be a whole other 40 minutes. But yeah, basically what I'm saying is just you as a person, try and work out what it is you struggle with, and try and explore it rather than being against it. Explore it. To then be able to learn to find the right way of managing it.
And nobody can take that first step for
No.
you. You've got to, on your healing journey, your mental health journey, your spiritual journey, whatever you want to call it or what you're aiming for, the only person
that can do that is you.
Is take the first step is you.
But if you want support and help through it.
Open Doors is here.
Yeah.
We're all here to help you. But once you're ready, or you think you'll need it, but you don't have to wait till crisis point before doing it.
100% don't.
But thank you very much, guys.
Peace out.
Later. Bye.
Bye.